Welcome back to the Whimsical Workshop. In our adventure to organize the studio for 2021, our next step is to go through all of our projects and UFOs and get them in some sort of order. At the beginning of each year, I do go through them and I weed out projects that no longer inspire me, I don't really want to work on, or they've been hanging around for a really long time and I'm not going to tackle them because something else newer or better has come along. So what I do with those projects is I do donate them. I offer them first to my friends and then donate them to charity where someone will be happy to use the fabric for a charity quilt. This is the hardest part, is to go through your projects next to going through your fabric, and which will be another video. But in this video I want to go through all our projects because some of the fabric from projects I'm not going to do will then have to be incorporated into my fabric. So the fabric will be the next step after we get through these. Now, I am unusual because I am a design studio, so how I design things is not necessarily, how I organize things is not necessarily the same method will work for you. So you have to kind of think about what you're going to do. I'm going to give you some pointers on how I approach I'm going to give you some pointers on how I tackle a project like this, which hopefully you could then interpret into your own system to help you go through your projects. So first, these two boxes, believe it or not, are my only personal UFOs that I have. So that being said, I keep glancing over here because there's like 30 boxes. There are like 30 boxes over here and over on this side. So there are a lot of projects I need to do for the business, so that's why I don't have a lot of projects to do for myself. Also, when I am done with my work part, because I sew and quilt and design all the time for my job, when I go to have downtime to do something creative and fun and relaxing, a lot of times it's not quilting. It may be sewing, it's just not quilting. So I want to also make sure I write down the things that I want to make this year, which is also going to be something that you could interpret into your own method. So the first way to tackle this job is, first let's move these out of the way. I've just started this year bullet journaling. My niece and my cousin talked me into it, and now my good friend from college and I are both doing it. She's been doing it for years. I'm the newbie. So I created a very rough bullet journal. There's some cute drawings in here, but really I'm using the method of bullet journaling to get down all of what I need to do, what I need to organize, projects that are coming up, how to take a huge project and tackle it and put it in smaller steps so I can get it done, which is kind of what this is. So what I've done is in here somewhere is a list that I started. See, I'm so new to this, I don't even have this like in any order. It's just sort of all mishmash. So if you do bullet journaling, please don't judge me by this. This is my very, very first one. And I can't believe every time I go to this page, quilts. There we go. Small items. These are things I want to design and make projects for. These are quilts that we already have fabric in a project box for, but it doesn't help me figure out what project to do first. But you do need to list out everything you have. So I've created this where I'm going to list all the things I want to make on one side and then all the things I need to make on the other. You may not have that. You may have that. You may have projects that you want to get done for gifts. You may have projects you've promised to people. You may have projects that are seasonal and you want to make sure that you're working, you want to get in the festive mood for Halloween. So, you may forget you have a Halloween project that you could start in September unless you have it somewhat organized so you know what is where. So that being said, my task is to write down everything I want to make and everything I need to make. And I will do that first. Then what I'm going to do is I printed out calendar pages. And what I'm going to do is when I list these, for me, I'm going to list on the need to make, I'm going to list the date it's due versus just listing them. And for want to make, I'll put a date on it if it's something seasonal or something I want to get done for someone. Like I have my cousin's having a baby. I need to get her baby quilt done, hopefully before the baby comes. So that would go in my want to do list, and I would put the date down of when I need to have that completed. This is going to help me organize all of these boxes so that when I put them away, because they're not going to live on my cutting table, they will be in an order where I know the most current projects I need to get done are in the front and easy accessible, and maybe things that are put on a bookshelf a little further away are things I don't have to tackle right away. So that'll be my first step. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going, and then I'm going to come back and give you some more pointers on the next step. So I have gone through all of the projects, and I have listed them out, my needs, my wants. These are ones that help the company. I mean, part of them I want to make all of them, but the needs ones are ones that we have a pattern out, or we could send it off for promotion, or in some cases they're actually jobs. People are waiting on the quilts. And then the want list is over here. It's actually longer than I thought, but I went through all of my projects that are my want projects, and seeing how I don't have that many to begin with, I really didn't feel the need to weed any of these out, but I did realize there are some here that I really want to get done this year. And I'll probably do some videos if you're interested in me doing them, even though they're not our pattern, just to show you, you know, another project that would be fun to make. So leave me a comment below if you like that idea. And maybe I'll get my UFOs done that way. So these are my personal ones. They go down under my cutting table right here. Kind of nice. There's just a little bit. The rest of these go on 1, 2, 3 shelves. So I need to sort them out and figure out which ones go where. And I need to fill out my calendar. And as I'm pulling these over, I'm going to show you what we've got. Please let me know if you'd like to see a video on any of these. Otherwise, I'm going to start sorting some of these out because everything in here is on date. So a project that was really something, the fabric came out like 6 months ago. I probably, unless I'm totally in love with it, will probably put the fabric aside to use for demos and props and other things. So you'll still see the beautiful fabric, but I may not go ahead and make the full quilt, mainly because I have nowhere else to put these quilts. So I have to be pretty strict about what we've got. But I do want to tell you another trick that someone else told me when I first started. If you have so many projects and you want to make all of these, and you never know which one to pick, you can get yourself a really pretty container, a jar, a basket, something, and you write each of these on a piece of paper. So each one's on its own little piece of paper, and you fold it up and you put it in that container. And when you do have a weekend to sew, you go over and you pull out the piece of paper. Whichever one you open is the one you work on. If you don't finish it, you fold the paper, you put it back in the basket for another time, or you can, when you finish it, just toss out the paper. That works for some people. Some people are like, nope, I am very clear on what I want to work on. But if you do struggle with not knowing which project to tackle first, that's a nice little trick, and it feels like a surprise every time you go in. You're like, ooh, what am I going to work on? So, next up is let me show you some of these projects, and I can tell you what I'm going to be working on, and you'll kind of get a sneak peek of our new videos. So the first one I'm going to be working on is our Somebody Loves Me. So in here, I bought these little boxes at Target. They were like $1.99 something a piece, and so I have, these are the mediums. There's this size that's the small, and then you saw the big size that had all my UFOs in it. So I keep everything in here. I've got the backing, I've got all of the fabrics, I've got the templates that I'm going to need, and I have the pattern. And then usually what I will do is I will just put the pattern peeking in the front. And in this case, it's a big pattern, so I'll probably do it that way so I can see the name. And this will be the side facing out. So I have it on the shelf, and I know, oh, there is Somebody Loves Me. And this is definitely what I want to make. I want to have it done in time for Easter. So on my list over here, under my needs, as I go through these, I'm going to go ahead and put a date on this, and I'm going to just say I need it by 3/15. And I can always change these, but so 3/15 for Somebody Loves Me, and I know it's a go. So we're going to put this aside. And I'm just going to go through these really quick. So Pigment of My Imagination is one that I would like to get. This uses a kaleidoscope or spider ruler. I want to do a demo on that in this month. So this one, the due date is going to be for this month, but that's kind of what that looks like. You can also see all of these, or most of these, on my website. So this one's due date is going to be January 30th. Doesn't mean I'm going to meet that deadline, but at least it'll help me. And what I think I'll do is I'm going to put a piece of washi tape on here with the date so that I could put them in order. So again, another layer of organization that will help the project go faster, or help me find the project faster. This one was a fun one. These are, there was a Hexi coffin swap online where I designed a couple patterns using them. They're these little English paper pieced coffins, and I bought a couple sets of them. I want to turn them into a project. This is a want. This is a, you know, when I have time, so that needs to go over on this list because I didn't put it on my list. Coffin project. And I'm going to tuck this one back behind me because I don't come back here very often, even though it's right behind me. I see those. I know those are there. I forget there's projects back here. So that's going to go back there. Another one that I have to do is our King of the Jungle. If you haven't seen this guy on our website, it's an oversized applique. I don't know where the pattern is. Oh, there he is. That's what that one looks like. I have everything cut. I have the background done. And this has literally been in my studio for a couple years for me to finish, so maybe this will be the year. But I even have like the binding tucked in here with it. So King of the Jungle is not on my list, so I will add him. And this, again, it's easier to look at a list than try to dig through your sewing. This is the hardest part, is getting organized, but once you're there, it's so much easier to know what you're doing. And again, I'll probably come back, put some washi tape on there with the names of the projects. Now this one is one we just did for Clothworks using Laurel Birch fabrics. This is called Reach for the Stars. And again, vote below if there's any of these you're really interested in seeing. This one just came into the studio a month ago, so if I can get this one done sooner rather than later, that would be good. So we're going to put this one in. Now for these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the date I received the fabric, because there isn't a due date on it necessarily, but it's something I'd like to get done, and I'd like to get it done in a timely manner, so I'm going to put the date I received it. And you can do that. You can put the date you bought it, and then when you come back, if it's been 5 years and you haven't touched it, you can think about, well, what am I going to do with this? So this one is Reach for the Stars. So that's over there. This is one I can't wait to make. We actually are doing acrylic templates for it. And this is called The Queen's House. And where this came from is I was watching a documentary on King George III and his wife, who I think was Spanish. I may not be right there, but she had her own palace. And in the documentary, they showed the palace, and as you enter in the front door, the floor looked like this. And I took a screenshot of it, and I designed a quilt all around the tiles on the floor. And so this is definitely one I want to make. It's using Hoffman's marbled fabric, so it looks like marble. It's really, really pretty. And it has like I said, we're doing an acrylic template set to go with it. So this is really high on my list to get done. But just like you, when there's an intimidating project, sometimes I'm a little slow to get it started. So this one I'm going to put a due date January on it. In hopes. And this is another one I really want to make. Now this fabric is a little bit older. This is called Our Matey from Quilting Treasures. But it's called Shiver Me Timbers. And it's just really fun, really cute. This is one when I want to break out my Cricut cutter. I will probably do this. Again, I need to do this one sooner than later because the fabric is a little bit older. So as you can see, a theme here. Everything's going to have a January date on it. And I'm teaching it right at home next week, so there's only 2 weeks left. So we'll see. We'll see how ambitious do I get. But again, it's nice to at least have a date on it, so when I go back and look at it, I at least know what I was thinking when I made the list. This is another one we got from Clothworks. This is called Full Bloom. It's using Flower Talk. Okay, and this one is made with a layer cake, and it's really quick, really easy. Definitely on my list to get done in the next couple of weeks, because again, it would be a really good video for you guys to see. It'd be a fun one to make together. So we'll put that on the list. All right, next up. This one is this is an ongoing project. If you've been following along at all, we've been doing our Block Mania, 1 block a month. And this has got all 6 blocks in it. So you can see, you know, Puppy Love, Wish Upon a Star, A Present from Penny, We Are Family. So this is all the blocks. And each month as I make the blocks, I'm sticking them in here because in 12 months, we're halfway there, so 6 more months. These are all going to become a block of the month pattern. So if you are interested in that, make sure you follow along on our blog and our email newsletter at thewhimsicalworkshop.com, and you'll know when all these free blocks come out. So that one's going to go behind me because I will always be able to look for that one. This is just a backing fabric because it didn't fit in the bin. So we'll find that one's home. Alright, this one's an older one, and I really wanted to make it, but I think this is one of the ones that's going to go into my fabric stash. It's called Signing Off. It's a black and white pattern we did about a year ago with all of these yummy, yummy black and whites, but it has been a year and a half, and I haven't made it, so this now will go to the fabric sorting pile. So see how that works? Like, not everything is going to get made. And when I'm done with this whole thing, I'm going to have a pile of fabric over there. Again, we'll use it for other projects, so I'm not too worried about it. It will all find a home. And so this one is for a top secret project. It is due the end of January, so that is a definite gotta do it right now. This one needs its own box. This is called Hello Summer. We just did this quilt. We need to make the sample, so I'm going to get this one into a box that has to find a home. Here's another one I really want to make, and I need to get it made sooner rather than later. This is Celestial Rings. It is just gorgeous, gorgeous fabric from Northcott. This is the panel. Really, really going to be an easy one to do. I haven't sewn since before Christmas because I've been organizing, so I'm really excited to get closer and closer to being able to sit down and sew this month. So this one's called Celestial Rings. I definitely want to get this one made. So this one is going to be in the to-do pile, which I'm going to put over here because I'm running out of space. We've got our Spoonflower fabrics. These are from Matthew. He designed these. We have them over on Spoonflower. I want to use these and make some really cute little projects out of them. And they're stuck over here, so I don't forget to do that. So those are Spoonflower projects coming soon. This one is called Glitz and Glam. That's what it looks like. Glitz and Glam. And this one is another one. I could do it very quickly on the on my AccuQuilt or on the Cricut, so I will probably keep this to get it done because the fabric for this is just hitting stores now. So if I can get it done in the next couple of weeks, it can go out on the road. But Glitz and Glam is using, well, I'm sorry, my pattern's called Sparkle and Shine. It's using Glitz and Glam from Hoffman. So that's another one to be made. So this one needs to be done in the next week or so. This is our Gnome is Where Your Garden Grows. You may recognize this. This went on the cover of Keepsake Quilting magazine catalog. I designed this using Shelley Comiskey's beautiful, beautiful gnome fabric, and it is a free pattern on Henry Glass, but I have all the fabric here to get the quilt made for Keepsake. So this has to be done this week as well. Now that I've sorted through all of my boxes and bins, some of these need their own box, which they will get into a box. I need to label each box with tape and the date, which I will show you when I get one done. And then I need to come over here and be honest and write out my calendar of what I really could accomplish in the month of January and what gets bumped to February, March, and so on and so forth. For me, I need to do that because it is a working studio. For you, you may want to do it just so you kind of have an idea of when I'm going to tackle that project. So making out the calendar, I'll show you that when that's all done. So let me go do all of that and I'll be back. Alright, so I've gone through the boxes one more time, and this time I've gone through and I've been really honest with myself about which ones I have time to get done in the amount of time. Those are going to go to the want list. And because I also have a lot of new projects coming in at the beginning of the year, we get a lot of projects coming in. So now I'm trying to mark through my list and go, okay, let's be real. How many quilts can I make in the next couple of weeks? How many quilts need to kind of go on the back burner? And then how many are just going to be put into the fabric stash, which will be the next video. And this is definitely the hardest part because you kind of have to, I want to make every one of those. I love every one of those, but I just have so many hours in the day. So once I've got all of these listed out, I will go ahead and fill in my calendars, and then we'll be ready to start sewing for another year. So you may be wondering, if I'm writing it all into my book and on these lists, why do I need to write it on a calendar? So I'm writing it on this calendar because it's much more visual and I can see how it's all spread out. I absolutely love these colored pens, so I can color coordinate what needs to be done when and for whom. So I'm going to create a key up here. This is going to be client work with deadline, and we'll go turquoise for, well, I guess it's green. This is for promo quilts, and we're gonna go purple for video projects for us, and I'm going to start filling it in. Now I'm not going to be putting any of the want ones on the calendar yet. Once I get the need done, I think I may be doing the jar with the papers in it, and just luck of the draw will tell me what to make. As you can imagine, when you see how many quilts we have to do for people, I don't get a lot of downtime to sew or create for myself, and I'm going to try to do better in that this year. Okay, so I have my calendar pages all filled in. Have a couple tight deadlines coming up that I didn't quite remember, but we will get them done. We never miss them. So now we're back to my bullet journal. And I've already listed the things I want to make. Some of these things are going to go in here as well. And I'm going to maybe redo this in the order of what I want to do, instead of just willy-nilly putting them down. But over here on the need to make side, we are going to go ahead and add in the projects in order of how I've listed them on my calendar, so that I know what's coming up. FBG is for our Facebook group, and I want to start doing one class a month. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, it is Heidi's Quilting Help Desk. And we're going to start doing this in February, where there'll be a very nominal class fee. You'll get the project pattern, and it'll be like something that uses back quarters. It'll be something small and something we can do in an afternoon, and the classes will be on Sunday. So if you're interested in that, join the group. The details will be coming soon. But I have to get the projects done before I can tell you guys about it. So, alright, so we have all of these written out. And I'm going to put a done box next to it. I don't know about you, but checking off a box always makes me feel like I have accomplished something. Alright, so I have everything listed in my book. I have a busy February and March. That's all I've done, is the end of January, February, and March in here. I am going to redo this side and organize it a little bit more, but you get the gist of what I've done. So I hope that this has helped you. But again, just the steps for you to go through it, and I wrote it out so I wouldn't forget any of these steps. is list out all the projects that you want to make, which I've done here. Sort through the projects and really look at them. You know, does it make you happy? Is it something you're going to finish, or are you tired of looking at it and you want to give it to someone else to make them have a new happy project? Again, you give it to your friends, donate it, sell them. People will buy kits and projects if you haven't used them. And then make a list and try to put it in some sort of order. Like here, I put these in date order. So I'm, you know, when I look at the list, I know the ones on the top are the ones I really want to do first. And then I'll work my way through the list. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it off your list, but it is a way to organize them. And then when you go through, if it's a kit and you're not going to use it anymore, but you really, really love the fabric, put the fabric aside. And then when we organize our fabric stash in the next video here very soon, I'll show you how to incorporate that into your stash. Don't get rid of it if you love the fabric. Sometimes the patterns, for whatever reason, you just don't feel like tackling it. So don't tackle it, just move on. It's fine, let it go. Again, it's supposed to be a hobby, don't stress over it. Divide and conquer, you know, list out the ones you have due dates for, list out the ones that you really are trying to make for an event or something. Don't be the scrambling 2 weeks before Christmas person this year. Plan it out. Who do you want to make gifts for? Are any of your UFOs gift worthy for that person? Put their name on it, put it on a calendar, and get it going. So I hope these tips help you organize your UFO projects. Again, I do this every year in January because a year is a long time and things happen or my tastes change or things come up and I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to move on. And so that way I can kind of keep my UFOs under control. You feel a little bit better if you know what you have and how you feel better if you know what you have and where it is. So when you do have a weekend to sew, you're not hunting and pecking for the project. You have it, you've got it. More time you get to actually play with it. So again, leave me a comment below if any of those projects were interesting to you that you'd like to see a video on. I appreciate you watching my video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.